So, to set this up, Noah says, Sean McDermott still scares me. I thought he coached well except that 3rd and goal play. They put Josh in the shotgun. If the Bills want any chance to beat the Kansas City Chiefs this time, anytime it's 3rd or you're in the goal line and it's less than 2 yards anywhere on the field, Josh Allen is like 6'7". You do the tush push every time. 3rd down. And if it don't work, you do it on 4th down. The fact that they ran a draw play from that close to the goal line when all game when they ran the tush push, it worked. Josh Allen will get you that yard. And again, if you're 2 yards or less, you should be doing it every time. It's coaching decisions like that where you get too cute, where now we had to settle for a field goal. That made a difference. And then not only that, then you pussied up and kicked a 51-yarder when you didn't have to. It's just the situations where you're not recognizing the moment to win the game. You can't do that against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have 11 games where it was decided by 1 point and they won all 11. You can let the Chiefs be close in this game. If you get to a 2-possession lead, you need to run the score up. You need to act like it's 0-0 still, or you need to act like you're losing. You're so close, and it's because you're 0-3 against the Chiefs in the playoffs that you need to kind of you need to throttle up. And Sean McDermott is way too conservative in a lot of these situational football situations. I mean, I've said it for the last, 3 years, Bert. He's the worst situational coach.
Week in, week out almost.
I mean, it's every game. There's always something. I'm like, why would you do that? What? And I get Joe Brady, but you're the head coach, man. Like, if he would have lined up in that formation, I would have burned a timeout. What are we doing at 2 yards out of the end zone, and we're running a draw shotgun, draw quarterback design run play? Do a tush push. It was 3rd down. Like I don't know. It was because then you put your quarterback in a situation where it's like, okay, Josh, now put on the cape, and you want to limit those situations because those situations are special for Josh. That's what makes Josh Allen great, and so. The Bills already beat the Chiefs, but as we've seen with the Ravens beating the Bills, it doesn't matter what happened in the regular season. This is the playoffs. The Chiefs have played one less game thanks to the bye week. They played a Texans team that I thought the pass rush can get to them. I think the Bills' pass rush is going to be a little bit better. I don't know why Travis Kelce, at the age of 137, is still wide open in the middle every game. At least 4 or 5
wrote
times
him
a game.
off last week, and
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know what he's going to do. What can you not believe about it?
God, man. It's
like
Travis
Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. They've been doing this year in and year out, which what seems like for the past 20 years, even though it's realistically been like the last maybe 8, you know?
They did it again like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, there's nobody within arm's reach of him. You ever heard of a QB spy? I need a Travis Kelce spy. Your job is to go where Travis Kelce goes. If you're blocking, you better be the guy he's blocking. If he's running, trotting, walking, I don't care what he's doing. When he goes to the sideline, you go to the sideline. Everything, you just mirror him. He's the only thing they have, man. Like, their offense, and I know I'm a Bills fan saying this, it's not that impressive. It really isn't. It hasn't been all season. It's been Patrick Mahomes throwing, falling down to the ground touchdown passes to Travis Kelce. Like, I get that he's a magician, but do not leave it in the ref's hands. Don't leave Travis Kelce open. Now, the Bills did a really good job of that. I think in the first meeting, I think they held Kelce to 1 or 2 catches, and it was like 16 or 17 yards. Cool. But if the Bills can replicate that game plan, and we'll see how the Kansas City Chiefs adjust, and the Bills will be healthy in this game. They were still missing some players in that Kansas City game. I give them a fair shot. Again, if you could beat the Ravens, you could beat the Chiefs. I get that you're going to be on the road. It's Arrowhead, but the Bills are built for this team, and I think I'm going to give them a really good shot of winning. I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm definitely not picking the Chiefs. I'm picking the Bills. This feels like the Bills' year. Just everything that's went against them. I feel like they've been playing so loose and carefree and effective. What I'm hoping is that the 0-3 versus the Chiefs doesn't make them hyper. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't make them play out of character. Am I crazy for thinking that, or is that just I don't know? Is that just
no? I think you're on par, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna go subtly optimistic with the Bills. Subtly optimistic because, as I mentioned before, I don't want to see a three-peat. And I don't want to see the Chiefs back in a Super Bowl. I do think the matchup is in favor of the Bills, but as you just mentioned, I think mentally is going to be the biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, we've been saying all season, hasn't been that same explosive offense. They have suffered through injury, but there was a point where they weren't scoring over 25 points a game or something, like in like 12 straight weeks or something crazy like that. We know it hasn't been their usual, but I mean, say what you want about a terrible offensive line with the Texans, the way the Chiefs managed that game, help from the refs or not, it's still the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, led by Andy Reid. And he's one of the best coaches in the NFL today, certainly a Hall of Fame coach to his name. I think his way of preparation, very similar to a Belichick by nature, where he's going to go over every scenario and be ready for absolutely everything. And he's going to utilize the assets that he has, which is why you saw old man Kelsey out there dusting it off from the regular season and doing his thing in the playoffs. So in order for the Bills to beat them, I think they have to be damn near perfect. And that's on both sides of the ball. That's making sure that they're not taking stupid penalties because they know they're going to be given those penalties. But on top of that, as you pointed out at the top of the show, whatever the perception may be right now, penalties are going to go the Chiefs' way, regardless, whether or not they are committed or not. So I think the Bills are going to have to be perfect. They're going to have to do what they did in, what was that, Jerm, week 5?
Yeah.
No, later than that. Back in November. Yeah, back in November when they played them. Like I said, optimistic, but I do not want to get your hopes up. I know you know that as a Bills fan. Don't want to get my hopes up too. But that devilish smirk on Dwayne Marcus's face right now, I got to hand it over to him, because if there's anybody good at giving a strong dose of reality, it's Dwayne Marcus. And I need to hear the truth come from his mouth right now.
So there's good news and there's bad news. There's good news and there's bad news. Okay. Good news is I agree. 100%. There's nothing I'm going to say that is going to be different from anything either of you just said. 100% agree. I think the Bills win this game. Here's the bad news, though. Your reward, Jerm, as a Bills fan, your reward, Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, for beating Lamar Jackson, your reward for sending the guy with the most pressure out of the playoffs last week is now the two guys under the most pressure this weekend, both work for the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott and Josh Allen unequivocally are under the most pressure this championship weekend. It's not Jalen Hurts. What does Jalen Hurts have left to prove? He's been to a Super Bowl. The only thing he would have left to prove is to prove that he can win the Super Bowl. He plays for the better team. You're not going to say anyone in Washington is under pressure. They're not supposed to be here right now. They're used to having their toes in the sand this late into January, right? No one in Kansas City is under pressure. They're chasing a three-peat. They're chasing ghosts, man. They're trying to do things that the sport's never seen. Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, what is it, 4-1? What is it, 4-1, 4-0?
4-1 in the regular season. 4-1 in the regular
season against Kansas City. 0-3 in the postseason against Kansas City. Every single thing I have said about Lamar Jackson over the last 2 weeks, about how he can't win the big one, about how he struggles to win the big one, all of that now firmly shifts to Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. Now, I'm not saying that Josh Allen can't win the big one, because as Jerm will tell you, there's never been a playoff game where Josh Allen in the fourth quarter hasn't left the football field either with the lead or with the game tied. But if the Bills cannot go into Kansas City and send the Chiefs home and send them to Cancun and to put their toes in the sand, then Sean McDermott needs to have his stuff packed up in a box on his desk when he returns to Orchard Park. His nameplate should be taken off of the window outside of his office. It needs to happen. Because what are the excuses now? The playing field is level. This is not the daunted Kansas City Chiefs team of 2019, 2020. This defense it's good, but this isn't the Kansas City Chiefs defense of last season, if you ask me. And I know, right? Bills weren't supposed to be here either. If you ask the pundits in the world of sports media, this was supposed to be a down year for the Bills. I get it. But when you've got the MVP on the team, when you've beaten Lamar Jackson, when you've done what you've done to get to this point, when you've proven time and time again that you have what it takes to hang with the Chiefs, there's one thing missing from Josh Allen's resume right now, and it is not an MVP. It's not a Super Bowl win. It's a meaningful win over Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen, by the end of Sunday night, needs to be buying a plane ticket to go to New Orleans and not buying a plane ticket to go back to Buffalo. That's what needs to happen. So all the pressure, unfortunately, for Buffalo, despite sending Lamar Jackson home, the guy with the most pressure in this playoff field entering the playoffs, has now firmly shifted to them. Because what excuse can you give me? You've been here before. You know that the refs aren't on your side. You know what to expect from Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. You know what to expect from this defense. And you've been on this football field, on this stage before. There's nothing new. There's no surprises. Every rock has been unturned. If this team comes out unprepared, if this team comes out flat, it's an indictment on Sean McDermott. And if this team is anything other than competitive, and if this is anything other than a one-score game either way, specifically in a loss, it's an indictment on Josh Allen, and we need to have a different conversation. So, unfortunately, Buffalo, as much as I think everyone outside of Kansas City wants you guys to win this game, all the pressure now is on you guys. You have to win. The weight of the world, literally, rests on the shoulders of the Buffalo Bills. 100%.
So I do agree that the pressure is on Buffalo at this point. Noah asked, do I think that Amari Cooper should get more involved? He's definitely a key piece we need. I don't. I think he's doing his – okay. We've tried the singular 1A wide receiver 1 template with Stephon Diggs. We play a different style of football. There are games where Amari Cooper is needed. I get it. In the Ravens game, he had 1 target. He didn't have any catches. They probably should have threw a flag because he was being held or interfered with. But you can't leave him unguarded, or you can't put your third best guy on him. That's why he's here. He's not here to be Stephon Diggs. We've tried that. And everything is matchup based. There's games that it's the Khalil Shakir game. There's games that it's the Mac Hollins game. Like, that's the Buffalo Bills have completely switched. It reminds me of the Patriots. I think one of you two said that earlier in the show. Yeah. It does remind me of those early 2000s Patriots, where that's why we know Wes Welker's name. That's why we know who's the other the kid. Oh, God, the other little one, not Edelman, the other one, Danny Woodhead. No, Danny Woodhead. Chris Hogan. You know, guys like that. You know,
the lacrosse players that are now football players. Yeah,
right. The Deion Branches, outside of the Randy Moss and the Gronks, and you know, there just wasn't those teams played this effective. It's everybody eats style. It's working. So I don't think we should be forcing Amari Cooper the ball. I think if the matchup favors Amari Cooper, obviously he's talented, but look at where we're at, man. Like, I don't think we should be forcing anything just to get him involved. I think he's involved as much as the game plan dictates. If he's open, Josh is going to give him the ball. It's as simple as that. Mike says Bill Bird Super Bowl. That'd be dope. I'll probably come up for that, to be honest with you. If it does end up being Bills Eagles. We do need to put a spy on Kelce, guard the middle of the field. Travis Kelce loves getting open in the middle of the field. Yeah, I mean, that's the analysis. It's really Travis Kelce and force Xavier Worthy, the rookie, to beat us. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't really been what the Chiefs needed him to be. I think he's been fine. I think he's been pretty good, considering, much like Amari Cooper, he's joined them kind of in the middle of the season. So, or at least hasn't been there all season. So I think for what he is, much like Amari Cooper, I think DeAndre Hopkins is fine. I got to imagine he's going to be a part of their game plan versus the Bills because, you know, our secondary's small, they're undersized, and I think we'll see. But Bills are under pressure. I agree with Dwayne Marcus, but I think the Bills are up to the task. I think this year I feel better about the Bills winning this year than I have in the last couple years, just based on a lot of things.
Do you need like a Pepto, a shot of Pepto or something?
You know what it is? I'm downing these energy drinks, and it's like I'm trying to hold it back, and it's like,
jeez, dude.
yeah, I'm sorry, man. I do. Yeah, my 14th energy drink today is like not agreeing with me. I haven't had this problem all day.
Yeah,
Bert, you got a game ball? You got to give a it's number
that's
5.
ridiculous.
It's number 5.
The fact that number almost started with an S is absurd.